In this tutorial, I will show you how to use the outlining functionality within Zenreader. I have created a project where we have two documents, and I have made a few highlights and selections in those documents, which is why we're seeing some tags displayed under these documents. I will now head into the outline screen and explain how this works. An outline is a note, a piece of text that you're writing that captures a lot of your thoughts and thinking about a specific topic. It is the equivalent of a note on Evernote or a Word document. The first thing I do is I create a new outline document. For this example, I'm going to choose Introduction to my thesis that I might be writing, and I confirm the creation. This changes the screen that we were in into the outline editing mode. Let me explain the interface a bit. On the left side panel, we can see all of the outline documents that we have as part of this project. And we can choose to create a new outline, to archive an existing one. For the time being, I'm going to hide this panel. At the top, we can activate and hide the markings sidebar alongside the outliner. In the center of the screen, you have your outline document, which is where you will type your notes and your content. And on the right, you have the outline inspector. This will show you some basic information about the outline, and it will show more details as we go along. I'm going to select one row here and type Introduction. I can then choose to turn this into a heading. I will then press Enter to add new rows into this document, and this works like a standard text editor. So let me go ahead and add a little bit of content, and then we can continue with the tutorial. In my outline, I can add paragraphs of text, and I can see how many paragraphs I have, how many words and characters. The real power of outlines is the fact that I can drag all of the highlights and notes that I have made from my documents directly in this outline. I can have access here to the markings panel, and I can see all of my markings. When I feel that I need to reference or paraphrase some of the content I've read from the documents, I can click and hold on the highlight, and then I can choose to drag it in the location of the document where I want this to appear. When I release, the highlight is added into the outline. You can then choose to view the marking, which brings the marking edit panel up. You can see the original color of the marking, and the icon here shows that this is a marking. If I click on the marking, this will automatically take me to the reader screen and highlight where I actually made that marking. This is very useful for when you want to go back to the context of where you made that highlight. Now let's go back into the outline screen and add a few more highlights. So I can also add an image. What I want to show you next is that the outline inspector now shows me all of the documents that are being cited inside of this outline. So at the moment, we have two highlights from the trace-based document. Let me add a highlight from the other document that we have in the project. Now the cited documents have changed to two of them, and I can click on either of them and see the bibliographic reference information for that document. And this is very useful for you to get a sense of what papers you're using as part of this outline. I want to show you now how to link different documents together. So at the moment, we only have the introduction to my thesis outline. Let's say I want to create a new outline that has equations, and I will create a title, choose the title mode, and just drag the equation in here. I can switch between outlines by clicking on the different outline here, or in the side panel, or by opening the drop-down and switching to the introduction. Let me delete, by hitting backspace, the equation here. And I want to introduce a second heading with equations. And let's introduce a second heading with algorithms. In the section of equations, I might want to reference all the work I've done on equations, which is as simple as selecting the equations outline from the left and dragging it in the right location. This will create a row that is of type hyperlink, which allows me to link one outline in the other. And so when I click the chain link, it switches and takes me back to the equations page, so I can continue working on this or I can read the content. Let me show you how to export all of the work that you have done here. When I click the Export Outline button, I have a few options. I can choose the final export format. I can choose to include all of the linked outlines. So for example, in this case, I might want to include all of the content from equations. And where I've used highlights from existing documents, I can choose to include the citations inline so that I know that that piece of text actually belongs to a particular document and needs to be cited. And I can include a bibliography right at the end of the export. Once I hit export and choose the file names, I will proceed and save this. And then I can open the report and everything is available for me to share and to send to other people. In summary, outlines are really useful for when you want to start aggregating all of the notes and information that you've captured from many documents in your project, and it helps you keep your thoughts together. I want to show you in the reader screen how you can bring the outline alongside the PDF reader and the markings. I can open the outline panel and I can open the markings so that I can create a workflow where I'm reading documents, making highlights, and bringing them in directly in my notes. So let me resize things to make this a bit easier. One very useful feature is to be able to rearrange these panels. So at the moment, if my focus is the outline, I might want to drag this to the left so that I have my outline available. And I can start typing some of my work. So I might have an idea about some theory. I can then go to the reader and I can find some content for that. Or I can find more content, so let me just make a few more highlights. And once I've made these highlights, I can directly drag them into the outline and continue my work.